If you're watching this video, you're ready to become a new man or woman in 2026. You're ready to set out and accomplish everything your heart desires. But just like previous years, you set goals and never accomplished them. But what if I told you there was a blueprint for achieving every single goal that you want to achieve, to see yourself become the new man or woman your heart desires, to accomplish everything that's on your vision board, everything that you have written down? See, you think goals are your life. You think goals are the foundation on everything you do. You think goals are your everything. You think just because you set a list of goals at the beginning of the year or whenever you set them, that you're just going to go out and achieve them. You think your goals are your everything. But this is where we forget. This is the biggest misconception when it comes to goals. Goals are direction. Goals lead us, and goals should allow us to follow God's plan for our life. What we forget is that we should get all of our goals and our direction from God's plan, which comes from His Word. See, the Bible is full of principles and tools to help you along the way on achieving those goals. And what we forget is to use the Bible as a filter, to use prayer as a filter, using God's Word as a filter when it comes to achieving our goals. And in this video, I'm going to give you 3 life-changing principles to help you in 2026, or whenever you're watching this video, to help you achieve the goals and become the person your heart desires to become. See, about 8 to 9% of people only achieve their New Year's resolution, leaving about 90% of people never checking off a box on their New Year's resolution. And likely you're a part of this 90% of people who never check off that box on their New Year's resolution, whether it is losing 10 pounds, going to the gym more, getting into a new diet, whatever the case may be. You're likely a part of that 90% who never achieve anything. But you want to know why you never achieve anything? It's likely for these 5 reasons. 1, unrealistic goals. You can't go out and set goals that you haven't even envisioned yourself on achieving. You can't go out and say you're going to do X, you want to make $100 million and you've never even seen a million. Yes, it is possible, but being realistic with yourself, of being where your feet at and what you're capable of doing. If you're capable of getting to 1 million, you can get to 100 million. No plan of action. You can't just set goals and wake up the next day and think that they are going to be completed. Without a plan, you will never achieve anything. And the Bible says, I believe in Hosea, it says like our people perish for a lack of vision. We must have a plan and a vision for what we are setting out to achieve. What are we writing down on our New Year's resolution, or whatever goal you're trying to achieve? A lack of accountability. It is very important that we have accountability partners with us. Rather, it's even holding yourself accountable. It says in the Bible, iron sharpens iron. That's something about accountability, because you have a partner, you have someone there to hold you responsible for everything that you do and everything that you do not do. But on the other side of that, you must hold yourself accountable. You can't keep letting yourself off the hook and expecting you to achieve the goals that you desire to accomplish. Hold yourself accountable. A lot of us fail to do the things that we really want to do in this life because we don't hold ourselves accountable for our own actions. We want to be baby. We want people to come and just rub your shoulder and say it's okay that you can get it next week, or you don't want to get up in the morning because it's cold and you thinking, I can just go run tomorrow. No, hold yourself accountable. If you made a promise to yourself, hold yourself to that promise and achieve it. Waiting until the perfect time. There is no such thing as the perfect time. The perfect time will never come. They say, when was the best time to plant a tree? 10 years ago. When is the next best time? Right now, because there's no such thing as a perfect time. Time is going to move regardless of what you do. The sun is going to set, the sun is going to rise every day. There's no such thing as a perfect time. In regards, when you say perfect time may be when you can devote your full attention, but don't use a perfect time as an excuse to put off what you should already be doing. And attempting to change too many times. So often we fail to make quick decisions. But we fail to make quick decisions and we fail to slowly change them. On the opposite, we are slow to make decisions and quick to change them. Or you are quick to make a decision, but you're quick to change it. Those two things don't go together. Over half the people who set goals in the New Year's or whenever either achieve or quit them by the end of January, with only being 30 days in. I know you don't want to be that person, because why take all the time out of your day to write down everything you want to achieve and you don't even achieve it? That's not satisfying. I would like for you to write down your goals, to write down anything you want to achieve, and then one day you can wake up and check off that box and feel the satisfaction of what it feels like to achieve a goal of yours. And right now, I know what you're doing. Sitting on your phone, you're going over there reminiscing of your goals. You're writing down goals probably right now, excited to achieve them, just to quit 3 months in, 2 months in, 3 weeks in, just like everybody else. But guess what? What if your goals was not the problem? What if it was your mindset towards them? See, my perspective when it comes to goals, yes, are the direction of which God wants you to move. And that can be altered. But often in goals, it's not necessarily about the goal, it's about the mindset towards the goal. Because I believe when it comes to goals, you should focus on the inputs. Focus on what you can do in this very moment to move yourself towards the goal. Forget the output. The output is going to take care of itself. But if you take the time, the patience to develop a system behind an input towards that goal and allow it to take care of itself, because time is going to pass by regardless. So you might as well spend that time worrying about what inputs you can do. For example, if you wanted to lose 10 pounds, don't worry about when you're going to lose the 10 pounds. Worry about what are you going to do each and every day, each and every week to achieve that goal. So rather that may be, you know what, I want to lose 10 pounds, but I'm just going to go to the gym every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and see how long that takes me. Because so often we worry so much about the output of the goal, that we forget to enjoy the journey. Because in the journey of you going to achieve that goal is really where you have the most fun. Because you can have the goal to lose X amount of pounds. And once you achieve that goal, yes, you're going to be satisfied. But what you're going to do is look back over that 3-month journey of, wow, I really got up 4 days out of the week, went to the gym, and I achieved that goal. That's what goals are about. Goals are about you becoming the person that can do that thing. It's about you becoming the person that can sit down and say, I'm proud of myself. Because guess what? You will never arrive. You only become. And each and every day you get up in the morning, start your day, you're becoming somebody. Rather it's the person you want to be or the person you don't want to be. But you always have a decision to become the person you want to be. And it's on the other side of you not worrying about what the end result of the goal is, but you focusing on the inputs and what you can do each and every day. Because this is what most people do, right? When it comes to goals, it's a loop. They set the goal. Boom, they set the goal. They get happy. They're like, yeah, man, I'm going to achieve this goal. I'm going to run a marathon this year. They go in, they create a plan, right? They come up with a plan on how they're going to achieve said goal. Now, after they come up with a plan, let's say they be consistent for 1 to 2 weeks. And they like, man, I'm good, I'm rolling. Soon as week 3 come around, it's a small circle, but doubt starts to creep in. And you like, I don't feel like going. And then you say, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. You don't get it to tomorrow. I'm gonna do it next week. You don't get to next week. And guess what? You end up right back setting another goal. This is what most people do. They set a goal, they get happy about the goal. They come up with a plan, they're consistent for about 2 weeks. Doubt, They set another goal. That's what most people do. Now, if you watch this whole video and don't remember one thing, at least just remember this. Just remember this. The first step to achieving your goals, the first step to making sure you can check off everything on that list is to fear God and keep his commands. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13 says, "The end of the matter all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man and woman, not just man." Now, King Solomon was the wisest and richest man to ever live. There will ever be nobody ever richer or wiser than King Solomon. He lived a life that we can all learn from in his book, and Ecclesiastes gives an insight on Solomon's life. Solomon begins out asking Christ in, I believe, 1st and 2nd Kings, I can't remember, to give him wisdom after God comes to him in a dream. Fast forward in Ecclesiastes, it shows how Solomon was rich, and then he fell into sin with a lot of women. And this whole period in Ecclesiastes gives an insight on Solomon's mindset during this rough time period in his life. He started off with wealth, but lost it due to association with women, and he repeated the themes throughout his story. In Ecclesiastes, it says, living your life under the sun is vanity and meaningless. Meaning, if you live your life just for life while you're here on this earth, it's meaningless. If you live your life for just tomorrow and not for eternity, it's meaningless. Then what are you here for? What we fail to realize is what eternity means. Eternity means forever. So you're either going to end up in heaven or hell forever. That's what he's saying. By living your life under the sun is vanity and meaningless. That's why he says at the end, just fear God and keep his commands. Keep this mindset in you as you're writing down your goals. Because your focus should not be to achieve all your goals on earth and just relax. Your focus should not just be to live life on earth when this life here is just temporary. This earth we live in, this vessel we live in, even is a tent. It is a temporary place until you get to heaven, assuming you're saved by my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If you're not, get on that side. But Solomon repeats this theme of living your life under the sun is vanity, is meaningless. And begins in the book, talks about fearing God. When you're writing down your goals, when you're making sure you don't want to waste 2026 or anything, any year moving forward, it comes from fearing God and keeping his commandments. Now, what does it mean to fear God? Fearing God is not necessarily saying, oh, I'm going to run from God, I'm going to go hide under the table because he's coming for me. It's not like that. But what it kind of like is having respect. Because what a fear of God does to somebody is it gives them a constant reminder of who Christ really is. And when it gives them that reminder of who Christ is, it forces the person to want to respect God. It forces him to think about Christ before he or she does any action. It allows you to filter through things you should be doing and things you should not be doing. That's what a fear of God does, because it says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Why? Because when you fear God, it allows you to have a filter through, okay, what would God want me to do in this moment? Is this respectful towards him? Is this keeping his commands? Because when you keep his commands, you know I should not be doing that, or I should be doing that. You know I should write this down on my goal list. Oh, I should not write this down on my goal list. That's what it does for you. Now, what my point is from that is your goal should be for building a life in heaven. Your goal should reflect you building up God's kingdom or bettering yourself to serve God's people. I heard this from John Bevere, saying live with eternity in mind. Think about that for a second. Live with eternity in mind. Why? Because the things you do today are going to affect when you give account in front of Christ. And he shows you what you did, but also what you did not do, what you were supposed to do, but what you avoided. Think about what you're going to have to give an account for when it's that time. That's what you should build your goals around. Your goals should be about building up God's kingdom, building up yourself to serve his people. He says the greatest among you shall be a servant amongst all. That's what your goals should reflect. And too many of us make goals that don't have any impact on God's purpose for our lives. If your goals aren't meant to advance God's kingdom or better yourself for him, it's meaningless. It's no point in you doing it, because you'll be wasting your time, because you're living your life as if earth is forever. You're living your life as if this earth is not going to pass away. Everything is going to pass away. So there's no point of you creating goals and wasting your time here for life under the sun. But it begins with you fearing God and remembering his commands. God's commands is the blueprint for you achieving your goals. Because if it does not honor him, you're wasting your time. You're putting in countless hours and energy into something that doesn't even fulfill you, because you want to make the person next to you feel bad or look less than. You want to look better and stronger than the person next to you. You'll be wasting your time. You'll be wasting your energy. Now, what you need to do next is create goals as if you're working unto God and not unto man. Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 through 24 says, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ. Now, remember we mentioned King Solomon. King Solomon in the beginning, when God asked him, what shall I give you? King Solomon had this in mind. This is what I believe. He had this in mind because King Solomon said, after the Lord came to him in the dream, he mentions serving God's people, not his own people. He says, I'm nothing but a little boy. I know not how to come in or how to come out. Give me the wisdom to serve your people, not my people, not the people I want to serve. But Solomon said, give me the wisdom to serve your people. Why? Because Solomon knew whatever God is going to call him to do, he is working for the Lord, for his people, not for himself. What would your life look like if every time you wrote down a goal or every time you went to doing some sort of work, you were doing it to serve the Lord and not people? When you go to your job, you're serving the Lord and not just to please your boss. What would your work ethic look like? How would your work ethic change if you had the posture of, every time I show up, every time I wake up in the morning, I'm going to do everything to serve the Lord, not to serve man, because your reward is not in man. Your reward is in Christ Jesus. You think you feel the most fulfilled and able to work with motivation and thinking about the benefit of yourself when it comes to working. So I give you an example. Imagine you were in a challenge, right? With someone you love. And the challenge was, who can take the most pain by being shocked, electrocuted, let's say. And you make it a long time, right? You and your partner will make it a long time. But here's the caveat. The person administrating this challenge says, for every shock you take, the person you love most does not have to take that shock. You will be willing to take more pain because you're not working for yourself, because there's somebody else in the picture. The person you love most, you're not going to want them to take as many shocks as they can. But on the other side, what you're going to do is take as many shocks for them so they don't experience that pain. That's where real motivation comes from. That's where real passion and purpose comes from, because you're working for somebody else and not for yourself. You're working for the Lord and not working for man. You have to switch the narrative you're telling yourself. Your goals should reflect your love for God and working unto the Lord and not for man. Because what can man owe you? What can man give you? Nothing. And as we're building and praying about our goals. I believe it's vitally important. Your goals aren't just for pleasing man, but it's also for pleasing the Lord. Because we make, like I said, we make too many of us make goals for the approval of man. Goals centered around people. Pleasing people for after you achieve that goal, you get a praise. But really, afterwards, you feel empty because it never really had substance. You're writing down goals, you're writing down things you want to achieve that doesn't have any substance under it. So when you achieve it, you're like, dang, I thought I was gonna feel more fulfilled. I thought I was gonna feel more happy. You never had any substance because you was working to please man and not to please the Lord. And regardless of you achieving the goal or not, your heart should be you working towards God because you receive your inheritance, your real reward in heaven. And I challenge you to reflect. Look at your goals again. Look at the things you're pursuing. Are they for the glory of the Lord or people pleasing so that your status may increase? Or for you to look cooler and then God gets no glory? Where's the benefit in that? Where's the purpose in that? That you want to set out to do these things to look cooler, look better than the next person, but you're not even going to give God any glory because you want all the status for yourself. You want it for somebody to say, dang, that looks good. I'm glad you did that. Or give you praise and hype your head up. And you getting a big head, an air balloon, just for it could pop. And then you sit there feeling hopeless and having no substance to what you're going to do. Now you're like, I don't know what to do next. Versus you creating goals with fearing God and keeping his commands and working unto the Lord and not unto man. And then my last point I'm going to leave you with is there is no such thing as the perfect time. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 4 says, He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. Basically, for the person who sits down and observes the wind, think about it. Can you even see wind? No, you're wasting your time. King Solomon is saying you're sitting here observing the wind, something you can't even see. In regards to clouds, will not reap. Because you will not reap because you never sowed anything, because you're sitting here waiting to see the clouds move and you can't see clouds. And basically saying you're wasting your time sitting here trying to wait for the perfect time to reap something that you never sowed in. Again, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. But what you're thinking is, I'm going to wait another 10 years for when the weather is right. You're wasting your time. Then you're going to go another 10 years without reaping anything because you did not sow nothing. Where's the benefit in waiting for the perfect time? I put it on myself to run a marathon this year. Originally, I had the goal of, I was going to run it maybe next year. I haven't been running maybe about a year and a half of me being consistent. And I had a realization, when are you really ever going to have enough time, Patrick? When are you really going to have ever enough time to go out and train and run a marathon? Never. Yes, right now you're in school. Yes, right now you're still doing content. Yes, right now you still have other obligations. But when are you not ever going to not have obligations? Never. So the perfect time for you to get up and go train and do this marathon is now. Because guess what? On the other side of that, you're going to become a new man, a different man who can know how to handle pressurable seasons where everything is compressed together. The perfect time for you to do something is now. Stop putting it off. And right now, that may be you too as well. You want to get in shape, you get hype, you got your fit laid out for tomorrow, for next week, you got a workout plan ready to go. And you're going to say, I'm finna start on Monday, when today is Thursday, and you can go tomorrow, and you have nothing else to do on your calendar. All you're doing is putting off the pain. And delayed pain ain't going to do nothing because the pain is going to be there regardless. That's what waiting for the perfect time does. Waiting for the perfect time is symbolizing that you're trying to delay pain, and the pain is going to be there regardless. So you might as well get up, go endure, go through the pain, yes, be sore, and then you'll be fine. But wait until next week, wait until you to get out and go do something that you set out to do for yourself. It's nothing but delaying pain, it's delaying stress. You're going to have to go through it regardless. I'd rather you go through it right now in whatever endeavor you're doing, and then afterwards, you become a new person afterwards. And you're going to be like, dang, it was not even that serious. Like Alex Hormozy and Layla Hormozy have a quote, it's like, fear is a mile wide but an inch deep. Yes, the pain may seem so long. It may seem crazy. But once you really step into it, It's only an inch deep. It was nothing for you. And you're capable of doing that. But you got to stop waiting for the perfect time because it will never come. You're going to be sitting there looking at the wind, knowing you can't even see it. And then my point is to all that is, what would your life look like if you stopped dwelling in your comfort and got up to take action now? And then you maintain that momentum. Yes, it's going to suck in the beginning, but momentum is your best friend. That's something I'm learning is momentum is your best friend. That's what I'm learning right now. Do your best to keep that momentum up. Like prior to the new year, I was super busy. I was barely had enough time to go to the gym. But I found it little periods. I usually go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. Because some weeks I was only able to go 2 times, 1 time a week. But I went so I can keep the momentum, because the moment you lose that momentum is when it's really going to hurt. It's going to be very hard for you to get back into that groove. It doesn't matter if you don't see it all the way through. I'd rather you keep that momentum up, starting small and building back up so you can maintain the momentum and stop waiting for the perfect time and you can be able to keep going. Momentum is your best friend. Speed is your best friend. The new year, whatever event it is, this is not no special occasion for you to start achieving your goals. There's no better time to start achieving the things you want to do in your life than now, regardless of when you're watching this video, before, after 2026. Transparency. I struggle with this as well. And that's why I'm making the video. Because if I can help somebody achieve their goals quicker and faster than me, my job is done. And this video is complete because you walked out with a new mindset towards achieving the things that you want to set out and achieve. I believe that if you wait for a special moment, majority of the time, that goal is not that important to you, unless your circumstances make sense. If you're waiting to start your fitness journey, start now. If you're waiting to launch that business, start now. If you're wanting to join communities and network with more people, start now. If we sit around and develop the habit of waiting until the perfect time, we will never see the fruits of our labor. Success loves speed, iterations, and growth. But if we wait until the perfect time, it will never come. Truly, the perfect time does not exist, and it never will. You will always have obligations. You will always have things that does not go in your favor. But despite all that, you have to start now. You have to start pouring into yourself now. It doesn't have to be big in the beginning. Start small, grow, make iterations, as long as you're making progress forward. Now, like I said, this video is not just for 2026, but it's in general whenever you want to start achieving your goals. I challenge you to invite God into your goal setting process. Allow him to speak to you about what he wants for you this upcoming year. Remember, fear God and keep his commands. There's no such thing as the perfect time, and work for God and not for man. Comment down below if this helped you. I hope this blessed you. Comment down below what goal do you have for this year. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay blessed. That